Go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Learning by Faith. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Stu.
And it's been a long time. I feel like we say that at the start of every video too.
Well, homeschoolers are busy. Like,
I know, right?
Hard to find time to do this.
So anyway, yes, it's been a long time. We wanted to come back and do a video before we even started school saying, here's our school plans. And now it's October. So sorry. But we had a fun, busy summer and did a lot of things.
Yeah, summer was rocking. We'll talk about it in just a second. To kick us off here, we wanted to share a scripture that we read. I think it was in the middle of summer when we were in the Alma chapters in the Come Follow Me, from Alma 58, verses 10 through 12. I just want to read it. And we just thought it resonated with us with what we're doing with homeschooling. Alma 58:10. Therefore, we did pour out our souls in prayer to God, that he would strengthen us and deliver us out of the hands of our enemies, yea, and also give us strength that we might retain our cities and our lands and our possessions for the support of our people. Yea, and it came to pass that the Lord our God did visit us with assurances that he would deliver us, yea, insomuch that he did speak peace to our souls, and did grant unto us great faith, and did cause us that we should hope for our deliverance in him. And we did take courage with our small force, which we had received, and were fixed with the determination to conquer our enemies, and to maintain our lands and our possessions, and our wives and our children, and the cause of our liberty. We just love that scripture so much because talking about this small force that they were trying to protect against the enemies, that's kind of what one of the many reasons why we are homeschooling.
Yeah, we just want to help our small force, our family, just be ready to conquer Satan.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. We're Latter-day Saints, and we are trying to fortify ourselves in the last days. And I love that in verse 11, it says that the Lord spoke peace to their souls and did give unto them great faith. So he spoke peace to their souls and give unto them great faith. We feel like a little bit that the Lord has given us a little bit of that faith over this last year to be able to homeschool. And that was a humongous leap of faith. And little by little, we felt peace. We saw progress. We could see things happening. But it's hard to see the end from the beginning sometimes. And I think that's where faith comes in.
Yeah.
So.
And I even think like there were times where I would just be like, what are we doing? Like, and kind of even question our decision to homeschool again. And I found that the times that I would question it were times that I was trying to do it by myself and not with the Lord, and not turning to him when it's really hard and all I want to do is like run to my room and cry or scream at the kids. And so turning to the Lord really does help, and it's strengthened our faith and been like, nope, this is right. This is still good.
And you know, we're one day removed from General Conference, and so we're still digesting a lot of that. But General Conference talked a little bit about like teaching the doctrine to kids, and I think you had that thought a month or so ago where you're like, hey, I just had a thought. You know, she had a spiritual impression or prompting to just make sure that we are spending adequate time in the scriptures with the kids. And
well, and even because President Russell M. Nelson in his talk yesterday said that our like number one priority should be becoming better disciples of Christ. And so I'm like, okay, with our school, like that's the first thing we do.
Got to delve in. So, I mean, we're not pretending that we have it all figured out yet, but we are leaps and bounds. You know, we've made progress
where we were at this point last year.
Yeah, this point last year. Yeah, 2023 was an amazing year.
Like, let's do that for 2 hours.
We're talking about that. Okay, so let's talk about the summer really fast. And by we're not trying to gloat here about what we did this summer. But what we do want to emphasize, or certainly give ideas to people of things you can do if you're here in Utah, things you can do in the summer. But we want every summer, and this summer was no different, that we want to take advantage of the season, the warm weather, to be able to get out and do more things, even more than we do
late
outside.
Nights, super late nights, fun times.
Yeah.
Lots of family.
So I'm just going to quickly go down our list here. We tried to articulate some of the things we did. I'm going to talk generic as much as possible. We did our family annual trip to Bear Lake. This time we had my mom come with us, which was really fun. The kids had cousin camp. It was a full week with some of their cousins here with us.
Sleeping over. We did so much gardening.
Yeah, tons of gardening. We're still doing it. It's October 7th, and we're still getting tomatoes left and right, and raspberries and everything. So that's still good. We went to a rodeo in the summer, and that was a whole lot of fun. We did a lot of camping. Certainly, as a family, the boys and me went with my brothers. I did some with our boys for scout camp, day camps. They're overnighters. Lots of scout stuff. We're still doing scouting. It filled up the summers, summer weeks. There
were volleyball camps.
Mm-hmm.
2 kids had volleyball camps. That was fun. They could do together. Night games with friends, some really fun late nights, playing night games, movie nights,
lots of movie nights,
biking, hiking, girls camp, birthday parties,
fireworks. The cities always do fireworks, and so we went to a few firework displays, which is always fun to do in the summer.
It was kind of fun because he had a couple work trips that he had to go on, and so we just tagged along with him and hung out at the hotel and swam in the pools. And
they literally hung out at the hotel most of the time, because our kids are still in that age where going to a hotel, any hotel,
they don't want to get out and do stuff. They just want to swim.
They just want the pool. And so she would just order pizza, and the pizza would come, and then they would just hang out at the pool. And no one else was at the pools.
Great. I think one trip happened at the end of school.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun. Just lots of family get-togethers, for baptisms and with cousins, temple trips, both for us and for our oldest daughter who can go.
We went to a water park in Provo, Splash Summit. That was fun.
Yep.
Paddleboarding. And then for our first not day of school, the first day of school here, we did a camping trip again.
So just like we did last year, if you saw that video.
We did that too. Except we were smarter and didn't leave on the day that school started, like last year, because that felt kind of weird.
Got out of town.
We left the day before.
Yeah.
And then we came back the second day of school. So that was really fun, and it was great weather this time.
It was great weather this time. It was like perfect trip. It was so much fun.
Super fun.
Although I think we decided that we're going to go somewhere different next year. We went to the same place this year that we did last year, and we still love it. But
hey, so leave a comment if you have any awesome camping spots you love in like northern Utah.
I'd even go down.
Water is a plus. We like paddle boarding when we're camping, so there's a plus. Tell us where your favorite spots are. And then so we started school a week after everyone in our district did. And we just wanted to do,
talk about the goals. Talk about the goals of the year. So from what we did last year, what were some of the goals that we wanted to do differently
this year? I won. We are doing less math. Last year, if you remember or watched our videos, we were having the kids do a lesson and all the questions in the Good and Beautiful book. And then 1 to 3 IXL codes to practice it that same day. And that was like such a pain point for me all year long. And so this year they're just doing the book, and that's it. And so far it has been awesome.
But guess what? And I'll restate it again here in case somebody didn't watch the prior video. The Good and the Beautiful's math curriculum is rigorous, and it's good. It's sufficient is what I found now, that I don't feel like they need any extra.
It's enough.
It's enough. But we are still going to do IXL. This is where we compromise. We are still going to do IXL next summer. So we already have our subscription to IXL.
It was a good summertime thing to do because the kids stayed fresh and
and they just did a couple little codes, a few codes a day. So we anticipate doing that same thing next summer, summer of 2025. to do that so that they don't have the slump.
Summer slide.
Yep.
Another one of our goals is just to relax more, kind of go with the flow, on crazy days. Don't stress
We got to
get
get
the
it
whole
done.
list done. And that's still hard for me, but I'm working on it because I want to focus on like a connection with the kids first. And that's another kind of one of our goals is like more quality time and connection and like focusing on the relationship with the kids first. Because if you're sitting there with a kid and they're crying over math and you're like, no, finish the problems, they're not learning anything. Just that. And another thing is we want to get outside more. So like today, the weather has been beautiful.
And it's in the middle of October and it's still in the upper 80s.
Upper 80s, it's perfect weather. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I know we're going to be inside a lot in the winter. When it gets really cold outside, we'll be inside a lot and we'll be able to do a lot more school. So today, just grab your math books and we're going to the park.
So we call it math in the park. They just go to the park and they all do their math. And
this is how it goes.
Yeah.
We went to the park. We were there about 2 hours and, the little kids go play. Our oldest daughter usually like goes for like 5 minutes and kind of plays with the kids and then works on her stuff. And then I'm like, hey, come do your math. And so I'll pull one kid and they'll come. If they're fighting me too much or whatever, I'm like, they're playing. Or like one of them was playing with some other kind of preschool age kids on the park today. So I was like, he's having fun.
Sometimes kids just need to get their energy out.
They
first
totally do.
Before they sit down. And that's a real thing. Anyone who's a parent or works with kids knows that kids just got to get some energy out before they can sit down and focus.
Or even halfway through the math lesson, one of our kids was like, can I go play now? And I was like, yeah, go play. Come back and finish it. And it was great. We spent 2 hours and yeah, we only did math. Actually, I did do a science lesson on a blanket, but I forgot their journals. And so for their science. So we talked about the lesson and that was enough. And they actually did finish language arts later today before or after lunch. But another goal this year is we decided to make a homeschool room.
Yeah, she kicked me out of my office downstairs. No, that's okay.
No, it just when you're
my office is my former office downstairs is a bigger room, and it was bigger than I needed, honestly, for an office. It was mostly unused space because I don't work from home that often, but and so add that into the need for a homeschool room or something. It wasn't necessarily a need, but it was something we wanted to try.
Yeah, because when you're homeschooling 4 kids that all kind of need you at some point, and my oldest kind of doesn't, but you're kind of bouncing around. And so
their stuff, their materials, their books,
there's so much stuff. I got kind of sick of bouncing from upstairs to downstairs to where are you? Oh, you need help or come to me. And so we put it all in one room. And they do each have a little desk that they sit at. It's not big enough to do like a couch or something, but they do have a little desk they sit at. And so we go down there for math and language arts, basically. And
we're not trying to recreate a school classroom.
No.
We're just creating a room where we can just keep everybody their stuff. So when I find something, like I found a bunch of rulers up here today and I was like, take these down.
Yeah, that's another thing we didn't like because it was like, oh, it's time for math. Where's your math book? Where'd you put it? Where did you have it last? Go find it.
Yeah.
And so it's just all there. And
sometimes they still go out into the living room or the family room.
In fact, I usually
kitchen.
do for language arts with our third kid because we have a reading section. So we like to snuggle on the couch and read that and then do his lesson.
Yep.
But it's actually, I've really liked it because they're all in one space contained. And if one's being loud, I can send him out.
So the room is not done yet. We've got desks down there. We've got some yoga balls. We still need to get some desk chairs. So we're in the market for some desk chairs and we just haven't had time to go look for any or even search, the classifieds or whatever. We got to do that. But they're using lawn chairs.
Not long.
Or like folding
chairs.
chairs. Like we've got some folding chairs. Folding chairs and yoga balls. So that's a work in progress. I don't think we're gonna share the room. Like we can talk about the room, but there's nothing, it's not a Pinterest homeschool room. We're not trying to create that. It's just got to be functional for us where kids can go and we can just kind of corral them all in one spot.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the start of the year. So you mentioned earlier that you started a week after the local school district up here.
Yes. And what's funny is I was talking to a neighbor in the late summer, and she was like, "So when are you guys starting school?" And I was like, "I don't know," because we were still crazy with like a trip or something. I don't know. And I was like, I don't really know. And she was like, "You don't know?" And it does sound crazy if you're not in that mindset. And like last year, we would have been like, "What?"
Yeah, and I would say like, I mean, yeah, it clearly caught us off guard after, but I think once you've gone a full calendar year, full school year, and you can see the progress that your kids make. And our kids, I think, made significant progress last year, and we're almost working too hard, that we realized that we didn't need to stress as much as we did. And I'm pretty sure other homeschooling blogs and people have said that to me, or we read that. And it was something we just
had to experience for ourselves.
Yeah, we had to experience for ourselves and find that out for ourselves. So that would just be take our advice that you don't need to push it as hard as you need to, because you're still leaps and bounds ahead of the public school.
Yeah. Our curriculum is staying mostly the same as last year. We're not really doing IXL. We're doing the good and the beautiful for math and language arts. We wanted to give it another try this year because, they just got the hang of how it works. And so we didn't want to switch it up on them.
Math, language arts, handwriting is also good and beautiful. They have a really good handwriting curriculum.
And we're doing science with the good and beautiful too.
We're still doing
our first unit is marine biology.
And we actually started this earlier in the summer, didn't we?
Yes, we started it early August.
Early August, yeah. So
yeah.
So why did we start marine biology in August before we actually started the school? Like hard next.
Yeah, we started it because we had a fun trip planned. We went on a cruise to Mexico. It was scheduled for the third week of September.
Yeah, it was third week of September.
And we wanted to take advantage of traveling when everyone else was in school. So we're like, let's book it for 3 weeks in.
And here's a little tip: like if you travel during the school year, kids 12 and under were free. We did Royal Caribbean, so they didn't pay us to say that, but so
there are deals. Yeah,
there's deals in the school year, and so we just said, hey, let's do that. Let's take advantage of this. So this is our first time of going on like a real big family vacation during the school year.
Yeah.
And guess what? It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
It was
we
super
totally
fun.
recommend it. So we did marine biology because we knew we were going to go to Mexico and
like
get more beach time.
Snorkel, maybe get up close with some dolphins and see the ocean. So we wanted them to have real experience, which is so cool about homeschooling.
Yep.
Like they weren't just learning chemistry or about plants or whatever. It was like specific to what we were doing, which was so awesome. They taught him some stuff about waves that I was like, yes.
Yeah, we were at the ocean and they were like, Dad, you know how waves are made? And I was like, I could not remember. And they were like, oh, it's this moon and the gravitational pull. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I they were teaching me, which was so cool. They talk about the coral reef and stuff with like sunscreen that's friendly for coral reef. And
and just different types of coral. And so it was really fun to be able to go snorkeling. And they're like, Mom, the coral. Like,
yeah, we had everyone's heads, well, mostly everyone's heads were in the water, and we were pointing to things, and then we'd come back up, and one of the kids say, Dad, we learned about that. Look down there. There's that fish, or look at the coral there. It was just it was taking what they were learning, and we were able to connect it to the real world. And say and so that it wasn't some abstract thing that they were learning. So totally got to do all of that and then some, and it was so much fun. And I think in addition to the marine biology, I know we're getting off topic a little bit from science, but like the cruise, like they were able, our daughter is doing Spanish lessons. We're using Babbel this year, and so she was able
We're
to.
doing Babbel.
She's not far into it, but she was able to have a few opportunities to say things in Spanish.
And sometimes you would tell her what to say, like,
Yeah,
ask how much this is, this is how you say that.
and there was this one time when this little Mexican girl came up and gave our
Oh,
oldest
so
daughter
cute.
this little toy, and so I was telling our daughter what to say
It
back to
was
the girl,
so cute.
and it was cute. And so, and just to experience culture, they saw different vegetation, different animal life that was around there.
The weather.
And the weather.
We experienced like 100% humidity.
Yes, and we're doing a weather unit, so maybe keep going with the
Yeah, there you
sciences
go,
here.
that's
So
nice. Yeah, so we are not all the way through this one.
we're like halfway through it, so we got a few
But
more
I did
lessons.
skip around. We were on like lesson 5, and then I'm like, no, I want to talk about dolphins and mammals before we go. So
Yep.
we skipped to the end, and now it's great. But we plan on doing motion and simple machines, weather and water, and birds, and I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's what we have planned
For our science
for science for this year. So again, we do 2 lessons. The goal is to do 2 lessons a week. We haven't really been very good at that up to this point, just with marine biology. But now that we're back and general conference is over and all that came with that, then now we're gonna start.
And we actually, it's October, and we haven't even started history.
Yeah. So tell them what we're doing for history.
Well, we have to finish our Tuttle Twins book, right?
We tried in the summer to finish that, and we still are a couple of
We
chapters
did
left.
maybe 3.
Yeah, we still have a couple of chapters left, so we got to pick that up again.
Yeah,
But-
and once we finish that, we are going to do the Good and the Beautiful U.S. Constitution and Government course. I am really excited to dig into the Constitution.
We're really
more.
excited for that one. I
Um,
think it's gonna be a good
I
one.
think I could use a refresher too.
Mhm.
And that's what's
We've
awesome
all
about
learned-
homeschooling
we've
is
all
you
learned
can
things.
learn along with your kids. I'm so much better at math now than I was 2 years
yeah.
ago. I'm like, I know how
Same.
to do that. Yeah, it's awesome. You're doing transcripts. Tell them about that.
Oh, first, so yeah, so something we learned is to document for historical purposes in case you need them in the future what your kids did for that particular academic year on the traditional public school calendar academic year. So I went back and created transcripts for our kids for the prior year, which consists of, and here's the basic what a transcript entails: the student's name, their date of birth, their address, their parents' name, the school name, which is called Campbell Music Academy.
Is that what we named it?
Yeah, I named it.
You named it. Okay.
The parent's phone number, the parent's email address, and academic year. So you have to state the dates of the academic year. Then you just list what grade level it is, and then all the courses, the course name, and the course that was used, and then give them a grade.
A++++++.
Yeah, A+. What movie is that? Oh, Christmas Story. Yeah. Where's the teacher's like A+++.
Yep.
But we've kept those books for now, because we don't know if and when we're going to need to go back and say what we did and when we did it. And so this was a recommendation from another homeschool blog that I had read, and so that's something I went and did. She didn't have to do any effort other than maybe like
awesome.
triple check me on it. And then I created one for this year so we could keep track.
And what's cool about the transcripts is it's not just like the courses we're taking, like if they are learning piano, oh, there's a music credit, like
Yeah, so I'll tell you, like my oldest daughters, we're also doing a Good and Beautiful Creative Arts and Crafts. It's an art course that we
it's just a
bought.
bunch of fun crafts
and so and again, they're going to do that
Pull that out.
all. She's an she's an art major, was an art major. She's a graduated art major, and that was one that we saw. And she's got a couple other ones that she's been doing too.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Okay, we'll come back to that. I know that's a really good one. So she's doing Babbel, Good and Beautiful, all that stuff we said, piano theory, and then she's on a volleyball comp team. And if she makes the junior high volleyball team again this year, then I'm
just more PE credits.
We're going to do skiing, so I'm listing that as skiing again. Reading. Everyone has to do a certain amount of reading with the Good and the Beautiful, and so we're listing that as a specific course.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of our science, Typsey, which is a typing program, we're still using that like we did last year.
In a show choir, right?
And then my daughter's in a show choir, which is fun. And then the boys, they all have scouts on theirs as just another thing that they were doing. So
Totally.
we're
Totally
documenting
learning.
We're documenting everything that they did. And I think we are probably more on the more organized side than maybe some. And who knows, a year from now or 2 years from now, 5 years from now, we might find out that it was all, the pain, the cost wasn't worth the benefit.
But it's maybe good to practice, because I think you do need them for high school if you are making your own. And
we don't know. So we've got an 8th grader.
We've got an
8th grader. We don't know if we're going to send her back to public school for high school or not. I'm like 51% we're homeschooling for high school, and 49%
we reserve the right to
send her back. And so in the case that if we were to send her back for high school, but it just depends on if they want a diploma or not, and if we want her to have a diploma or not. And so
you have to be able to make your own.
I read an article this last week that Harvard is now bringing in homeschoolers. They had the largest incoming freshman class that were homeschoolers. And I remember the report right. I have to go back to see if I can find it, but I think it was like they had 2% of their incoming freshmen, 3%, something like that, were homeschoolers. So what they would require, I don't know. Increasingly, universities are more accepting of homeschool.
The advice for high school is just see where you want to go if you want to go to college, and what they require of homeschoolers is kind of how you do high school. You kind of go backwards. So I want to talk about the art course that I got that I'm so excited that we're doing. It's by Lillian Thistle. She's like a watercolor teacher, and it's called Art Makes Me Smart, Art Around the World. And what's really cool is there's like several different countries, and you learn about the country. There's a huge list of books that you can read about the countries, and recipes you can make with the countries, and then art projects for the countries.
Somewhat we did for Mexico.
And so there were 2 cute art projects for Mexico. We made like a Day of the Dead.
This is all they did on one day. I came home from work, and the house had been, well, it felt like it because
destroyed
the house was transformed into this like Mexican party fiesta.
Like an ofrenda. They had it on. So
tell me,
we printed off photos of our ancestors. I just pulled them from like ancestry.com, I think it was.
Ancestry.com.
And I told the kids some facts about this ancestor, things that they would think were cool, like, oh, he played the guitar, his dad, like, and then they decorated their little frame,
so the
how they wanted with marker, and it showed you how to do that, which is so cute. And then the other art project we did, I can't remember what it's called now because I didn't look this up before, but it's like on the brown paper. You've probably seen it, and it's usually like bright and colorful birds or something. And so we did
looks
that.
Like their leather work stuff that they did. I found some in Mexico last year.
Yeah. So it was fun to do art projects from Mexico and then go to Mexico.
Yeah. So we were trying to make connections here with everything that we were already doing. Instead of letting the curriculum drive us, we knew this is what we wanted to accomplish as a family. We wanted to go on this really awesome cruise down to Mexico. We were going to spend a lot of time in the culture down there. And we found things to relate to what we were already planning to do.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Again, you got to connect the dots with what you're doing, with what you want to accomplish.
The thing about homeschooling at school is it's just like woven into your life. It's not like, okay, it's 9:00. Let's go do our school. And then, at 1, we're done with school. Like you were helping one kid with math tonight, which is kind of normal for homework, I guess, but we never do that. But
yeah.
Or if we just start learning about something and kids start asking me about something, then we just.
I learned how to do shorthand division tonight, and I don't ever remember learning that. I missed that last year when our daughter was at that course. So it was awesome, and I feel totally smart from doing it.
Good.
Last thing, and then we'll finish this video up.
And this is just kind of a funny little
just something else the kid mentioned to us, and it got us kind of thinking. So we felt like it's probably something we should articulate to other Latter-day Saint families, is the topic of family home evening.
Our 8-year-old tonight was like, because it's a Monday night, what are we doing for family home evening?
And this is not just tonight. There's been several times in the last couple months.
Okay, so for the last couple months, we've had sports on Monday night, kids playing flag football. And one of our sons has a piano lesson on Monday night. And so our FHE Monday nights has not been happening. However, we're kind of like
kind of torn about it
we
because
already spend all day together.
she's doing lots of teaching the doctrine of the short gospel of Jesus Christ and talking. Well, yes, we all could always be better, but like we're doing a lot more than I think most people because of the curriculum that we use. And
so we're kind of like, we already do like every day is family week.
Yeah, like it literally is. And so we've kind of gotten off that FHE Monday night mainly because we've had stuff, but
well, and like
we're doing it all the time.
Usually our Fridays are some kind of fun activity, and so even if our family nights were just like a fun activity, we'd be like, we're already doing.
Yeah, we're still 4 days a week, and then Friday's fun Friday.
Tell us, like, comment if you homeschool. Do you also do
family
home evening night? You're probably better than us, and they're like, yes, of course we do. But
anyway, so we've had to release ourselves of that guilt and say, we're doing it all the time, and then Fridays.
Well, and right now we're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
Isn't that always what
Fun Fridays? I think counts for it. You know, the whole idea is to have a date set apart in the week to do something fun, recreational activities like the proclamation of the family says, and have fun together and experience each other in that way. So we just needed to throw that out there to the universe that Monday family meetings are not happening in our household.
Oh, no.
But we're still faithful, active members of the church, and I think the Lord understands what we're doing.
Hopefully. Well, we hope to be back sooner, but we're not making any promises.
I think our next one will probably be.
We'll see you in like December, right?
Yeah, I was going to say maybe a Christmas one. Yeah, so hopefully this has given you an idea. Yes, we're still doing homeschooling. We're in our second year. We're well into it. And there's still things that we don't have figured out. There's still times and moments when we do get that second guessing. What the heck are we doing? Why are we doing this? Or are we screwing up our kids? Or, you know, are we, you know, is this social suicide? There's all of those. There's all of those questions and thoughts that come to us. And to reference back to the scripture to kind of bring us full circle here, that we are finding moments of peace and then other times of great faith. And I think I've learned over the last year, we've learned that in the moments when we are doubting, you got to doubt your doubts, and then go to bed, and then the next day, the perspective, do something fun, and the perspective changes, and then something else happens that you're like, oh yeah, that's why. And then you can have the confidence to move forward. So hopefully you are learning, whoever's watching can learn from what we have experienced over this last year, and can learn, and you too will want to take that great leap of faith to learn not only by books, but by faith, like we're trying to do.
Did there. Good job.
I didn't even plan it. It's just the way that it came out. So anyway, talk to you later.
Great one. See ya.
See ya.